And one of the highlights today is the appearance of the old Curtis Canuck, lovingly restored by Skeeter Carlson. Skeeter's going to tell us about the old bird.
It's all original. There isn't anything on it that is modern except maybe the new wooden landing gear. We've got about 3.5 hours on it now, and as long as you own an OX5, you're never going to have time to do anything else. I left the top cowling off because I have never seen a picture with one on it. Now I know why. You're up there greasing and looping every time you stop. It starts at the water pump. It's got string packing in it. It's terrible to get at, so you let it leak a little bit. Water's cheap. All this stuff here is to get at the oil pump and all the other appendages in it. There's not too much to do there. The side panels. To start it, you have to open these up, pull up on the float, which in turn drowns the float and then floods it. And when you get that done, you pull a choke just like an early automobile and run out and pull on a prop, get it choked. There's no rubber biscuits or anything for cushioning, and it's really not very rough. It's quite a smooth running old airplane. Of course, as its first passenger, it doesn't seem to matter whether it's got 2 in it or 1. It still gets off just about the same. In fact, you could have people on the wings. It flies great. I put in all new stainless wires on it. There's 250 some feet of wires in it. All the struts are original. All the woodwork in the wings is original, as is the fuselage. There's new veneer on the leading edges. Wheels are Jenny. Tires are motorcycle. It's got a good landing gear. It's nice and smooth. If you land it anywhere close to right, it'll forgive you for dropping it in. It was very solid. I took a lot of it apart and checked the wood for rot. It was all solid. The old airplane come from Colonel Jarrett's museum in Roosevelt Field, New York. He probably spent a good share of his time indoors in the museum, so it was in solid condition. And all the wrap and solder, like this one, are the original way of going. I used micropress sleeves and taped them so it looked like wrap and solder. I wanted to fly it in this lifetime. The only thing I had to make is the servo struts for the ailerons, and that's one thing that differs in the Jenny, the Canuck version, than the Jenny. It has ailerons top and bottom. I'm sure the Jennies were made for 20 years old because you must have a 57-inch crotch to enter. Grab it like this and swing all the way over. Keep your head on the top and mount it. Notice the experimental sign in it. That's because this airplane never enjoyed a standard category license, so it's flying under an experimental type certificate, so it has to be displayed as such. The instruments are thusly oil pressure, that's an original gauge. Tachometer, that's an original gauge. And I've replaced the altimeter, which this is, and that's probably what it had, and the radiator temperature is a replacement. And a true rudder bar. You want to look at it when you fly it, because you think it's like a flexible flyer sled to go the wrong direction. You want to stick, needs a lot of leverage for those big ailerons. When you first pour the coal to it, you want to stick all the way ahead, and then the tail comes up instantly, and you can see where you're going. And it'll take off probably in about 5 of its own legs, but it won't climb very fast. It takes long enough to clear an obstacle. Everything else, all new cables on it. Gas gauge is original and functional. American version, they removed all the things that were a pain in the American version. Supposedly a little lighter, and this came out weighing 1,500 pounds, which is exactly what the book says. And the American Jenny is probably 100 pounds heavier. I don't know where it gets it. They both get off and perform very similar to each other. This airplane, when I first got it going, was extremely tail heavy. In fact, 2 hands on the stick. The thing runs very cool. Like coming over here this morning, you could put your hand on it after you've run it all day and not discomfort. The prop is the only thing. The prop that came with it was not airworthy, and so I picked up this Scimitar prop. Turns out that it works just right. It turns 1400 static, and the airplane performs real well behind it. The rocker arms continuously play like a player piano when the airplane's running, and there's a continuous shower of grease going back to the windscreens. No matter how clean you are when you start, you're going to have grease on you when you go around a patch even. But that's all part of the fun of having a Curtis. It's noisy. There's conversation between the front pit and the back pit, unless you can pass notes.
Yeah, I'm not close.
Hey, don't forget, that's my house.
Which one? I gotta target that thing.
The gray one, but go for the big one.
Okay.
No, it's the antique.
Better than some later airplanes I've flown. It's very predictable. It's medium. It's just really not too shabby. In spite of what you read, Jenny's a pretty good flying old airplane. And a lot of fun.